Most people don't regret buying in Dallas. They regret where they moved.
Dallas.
People in the housing industry are starting to see some ripple effects.
Just how much worse is this housing downturn going to get in Dallas, Texas?
These are 5 suburbs people try to leave inside of 2 years. People buy in these 5 suburbs thinking they're getting a deal. And inside of 2 years, a lot of them are trying to sell. Prices are down in all 5. Days in market are up in all 5. I'm gonna walk you through each one, counting down to number 1. Number 1 is the loudest, and it actually made the news for how bad it is. So stick around for it. Number 5 on the regret list is Melissa. So let's say you want coffee, and your options are drive 8 minutes south into McKinney. You're passing 3 coming soon signs, and one of them has been there since the week you closed. So here's a rule I give to all of my relocating clients. If you're driving 25 to 30 minutes for every piece of normal life, coffee, groceries, a decent dinner, a Target run, you didn't pick the right suburb. You picked a coordinate between 2 better developed ones, and the money isn't better. Median home values in Melissa right now is around $435,000. That's down 6.3% year over year. Homes are going under contract in 88 days. That's almost a month longer than McKinney. That's about 15 minutes down the road. This is a brand new community in Melissa, Texas, and this street is filled with all new construction homes, and none of it can actually sell. These builders are about 80% done with this whole row of homes, and yet none of it has sold because this is just so far out. Okay, number 4 on the list is Little Elm. In 2024, I was actually building a home here in Little Elm. $690,000. I put $22,000 down. We spent real time in the area before we broke ground. And then we canceled. We lost our entire deposit. And then we toured a home in Life Farms and bought in Celina instead. You're touring 2 houses, same floor plan, same builder, same year built. One's listed for $480,000 and the other's listed for $345,000. They're literally 6 minutes apart. The only difference between those 2 houses is which school district line they sit on. 3 different school districts, by the way. Little Elm ISD, Denton ISD, and Frisco ISD, which is the side you want to be on. And your home value is actually tied directly to this answer. Median home price in Little Elm is $432,000. But the number that matters is the days on market because it's pretty brutal. 153 days. That's up 97 from last year. That's 67% of listings right now that they've had a price cut on. And here's the deeper problem. If the best thing you can say about a suburb is that you're next to Frisco, that isn't a value, that's kind of a red flag. You're paying for the proximity to somewhere else because the place you actually bought doesn't stand on its own. Okay, so moving on to number 3, it's Anna. You pull into the model home, it's pristine, quartz countertop, landscape entry, the whole 9 yards. You drive off that lot, and for 10 minutes, you pass dirt, empty lots, half-poured foundation, silt fences. That's Anna in 2026. And depending on where you buy, that might be your view for the next 5 years. That intersection behind me is the main intersection in Anna, Texas. And right now, there's a liquor store, a Sonic, and this bank right here. Okay, so last month, the Prosper-based developer Telus Group broke ground in a community called Shirley Farms. It's a $1.5 billion development, about 3,000 homes on 970 acres. First model homes open spring 2027. That's one project.
In 2 years, spring of 2027, there will be a brand new master plan community called Shirley Farms that will have 1,000 acres, 3,500 plus homes in it, and it'll be the main community in all of Anna. But until that happens, this is what your backyard is pretty much going to look like for the next 2 years. And even when that community comes, it will probably look like this 3 years after that. So for the next 5 years, this is what Anna will look like.
Median home value in Anna is about $359,000, down a whopping 9% year over year. That's steeper than any other established Collin County suburb. When you go to sell, you're not competing with homeowners. You're actually competing with the builders who are down the street offering new lower interest rates and throwing closing cost incentives at you that you just can't match because they're tens of thousands of dollars. So to do anything, you're driving into McKinney anyways, and at that point, just live in McKinney. Okay, so number 2 is Forney. I used to sell homes in Forney, but I'll be honest with you, I regret it. A lot of clients just ended up hating it. Most of them sold and left. Affordable homes, proximity to Dallas, and 25-30 minutes off one of the busiest highways you'll drive in during rush hour. Anyway, it's more space, the newer builds, a lower price as advertised. Forney quietly became a rental-dominated market. Investors bought in heavily, and that does 3 things. It kills pride of ownership on the entire street. It hurts resale because buyer pools shrink to other investors. And it changes the community feel in a way that nobody notices until you're actually living there. Here's where the 4% headline stops telling the real story, because the 4% drop isn't even the worst part. 73% of active listings in Forney right now have had a price drop. That's 3/4 of the market dropping in price. The sell to list ratio is 93%. And that means the average seller is accepting 7% under what they ask just to close on the home. So truly, if you want to be on the east side of the Metroplex, Rockwall and Heath are right next door, and they don't feel like rental dominated communities. Even Royse City holds up better in ownership and on pride of place, actually being homeowners. Okay, so moving on to number 1 on the regret list. It is Princeton.
So we're driving from McKinney east to Princeton. It's a farm to market road pretty much all the way down. And the condition of this place is trees and old trailer homes that will eventually be subdivisions. But then you have also ranch and farmland because people used to farm out here before development started happening. But between McKinney and Princeton, you basically see nothing.
Princeton is east of McKinney along Highway 380 in Collin County. And a few years ago, it was actually the 3rd fastest growing city in the entire US. Population went from 17,000 in 2020 to 30,000. Builders were selling 50 to 60 homes a week out there. Then in September of 2024, the city council did something almost nobody does in Texas. They voted for the growth to stop.
So this building is the place where they voted to stop all new home construction in Princeton, Texas. And the reason why is because wastewater, water, and roads were all maxed out because they were building so quickly here back a couple years ago. And the halt was supposed to last 120 days, and 2 years later, it's still being stopped.
The wastewater system was at capacity. The roads were at capacity. The city admitted it needed multiple new water storage tanks and 30 more police officers just to catch up to a population that grew faster than any city could support. The city literally made a new state law come into effect because it was growing so fast it needed it to stop itself. That's crazy.
And we're talking about Texas, one of the fastest growing states in the entire nation for the past 5 years. It almost never does this. So for a city to grow so fast that infrastructure couldn't keep up to the point where they stopped building, that's a huge red flag.
Developers came in, subdivided it aggressively. Unlike Frisco or Prosper, Princeton has no major anchor.
So about 3 minutes down the street from Lowry Crossing into Princeton, even further, we have a community called Winchester Crossing, and the same exact feel. Homes are being built, but no one's really moving into them. And you can see behind me that there's so many lots that they've already subdivided.
No Universal Resort, no PGA headquarters, no Cowboys complex, no major retail, no lifestyle center, no real reason to live there outside of price. And if you bought on the peninsula south of Lake Lavon, you also bought into a MUD, a municipal utility district. And that tax district can add another percentage point to your effective tax rate, as if Texas didn't already have high enough taxes. So the discount you thought you were getting on the list price for buying in Princeton out east shows up on your tax bill instead, and you're not even getting the infrastructure upsides of Celina. So the listing might actually say $320,000, but the actual cost of ownership lives in a different neighborhood. Okay, so there's my 5 picks. Places you regret buying in 2026. So here's the lens I want you to leave with. When you buy in a suburb that's building itself, you're not really buying a house. You're buying a bet on future growth. The suburbs that are worth paying for are the ones that already have finished building what you need, with the exception of Celina and North McKinney. It already has water, schools, retail, and commute math that doesn't depend on a road that hasn't even started building yet. If you want help telling the ones that are actually done building from the ones that are still pretending to be before you tour them, that's a conversation I have every single day. Contact info is in the description. I would love to help you if you're moving to the Dallas area.